NFTs. It's a non-fungible token, you see.
All right, welcome everybody to the Blueprint episode 7. So my name is Maz and I'm here with Salil today. Salil, how was your weekend, bro?
My weekend was excellent, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I had a good time the last couple of days. Did you do anything fun?
I actually took some days off. I went hiking in the nature. It was a lot of fun, man. It was great to take some time off.
Nice. Where'd you go?
Yellowstone. So super
Ooh,
amazing. I think it's the most beautiful place I've seen in my life. It's gorgeous.
I love it. That's awesome that you did that. So I'm sure you're feeling reset, refreshed, and ready to get
Yup.
back into it. So things on the platform have been a little slow over the last couple of weeks. There's definitely been, some stagnant things on off the platform. How do you feel with where we're at right now on bitclout.com?
I actually feel okay. In fact, I'm very positive about the platform. I think it's tricky how we measure engagement on Bitclout. And especially, there are two distinctions. There's bitclout.com, the website, and then there are people who are engaging about Bitclout outside of bitclout.com. So there is Zoom calls happening, there is Discord servers, Clubhouse. And I think the activity there is pretty much as it was a month ago as well. And the other thing is, right, a lot of projects are still coming out. Like
Yes.
there's a lot of new work being done. A lot of developers are engaged. So I feel great overall.
Amazing. Yeah, and you're right. I'm constantly on Discord. I'm in like 3 to 4 Discords, all big clout, Zoom calls. All I can say is things are being built off the platform. And,
Yeah.
that's why we're not seeing a lot of engagement. It's because things are being worked on, which brings us to the next. Yeah, I'm sorry. Didn't mean
Yeah,
to cut
and
you
I've
off.
seen like amazing episodes from you, right? Like the Craig episode that you dropped last week, right? Uh, and all the other people that you're talking to, I think there's a bunch of engagement or excitement around it. Just it's less on bitcloud.com.
Exactly. It's almost like you said, yeah, there's a lot of building going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Everyone I've spoke to, they don't seem negative about the platform. They just seem to be building and focused on these things. And once certain things come out, should see some more engagement on the platform. Which brings us to today's episode where we want to talk about one of the most awaited features we're looking for on the platform, which is NFTs. How do you feel about NFTs coming to BitClout, Salil?
Very excited. So, in fact, I'm more excited about NFTs than I was for the exchange listing. So,
Yeah.
exchange listing, took care of the little bit of the FUD that was around BitClout that you can't take money out except
Yeah.
OTC. So, the exchanges took care of that. But
Mhm.
NFTs truly, I think, is the first non-speculative way for creators to make money on BitClout, and I'm super excited.
Exactly. So we're going to look into all these types of, ways that creators can get into NFTs, what NFTs are, and just break it down for everybody in today's episode. So let's get right into it. All right, Salil. So let's talk NFTs.
Let's do it. So today we'll cover three things in this episode. Number one, what an NFT is. We've heard a lot about it, but exactly what does that mean? We'll talk about it. Second is how do NFTs work on BitClout? So Diamondhands on Sunday evening, late Sunday evening, early Monday, depending on where you are, uh, basically release some documents around NFTs, a presentation, some documents around NFT. We'll review that and we'll talk about how NFTs work on BitClout. And then finally, the third piece, which a lot of people are excited about, is how does monetization work with NFT on BitClout?
Absolutely. Perfect. So let's get right into it. So first things first, what are NFTs?
What the hell's an NFT? Apparently cryptocurrency. Everyone's making so much money. Can you please explain what's an NFT?
Right? So NFTs are still kind of, depending on who you ask, you'll get different definitions. So to me, an NFT is a digital asset that can be bought and sold, and it's usually pertaining to digital content, right? So it's surrounding some
Yeah.
sort of digital content. You buy it, you can sell it, you can hold it, and it tends to appreciate or depreciate depending on what exactly it is, right? So it's a fairly new market,
Yeah.
but that is the basic understanding of an NFT to me. What does an NFT mean to you, Salil?
Yeah, so let's break it down, right? It's a mouthful. NFT stands for non fungible token. Okay. And like you said, they can mean multiple different things. They can be as simple as a ticket to a concert to something that's more asset based, like an image or a video. Uh,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is, internet and this digital economy thrived on making quick copies, right? The friction on making copies on any piece of asset was very little, right? If you have to make a copy of an image, you just copy paste and you have
Yeah.
another copy. NFTs rolls that back a little bit. It tries to reward the initial creator of that art, of that asset, by tagging along the proof of ownership along with that asset. You probably can make multiple copies of the same thing, but the proof of ownership will be with one person who owns that NFT or that asset, token.
Exactly. And the cool thing that I've seen is the utility aspect of an NFT. You know, when you think of an NFT, you think artist.
Yeah.
But I've seen it now where there's potential uses for coaches, for
Oh
tickets,
yeah.
for certifications, badges. It doesn't necessarily have to pertain to art, which is
Yes.
kind of cool to see other uses for NFTs are being built upon. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, a funny clout that I found just preparing for this episode on April 13th. And if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. On April 13th, Dharmesh said the original NFTs on the internet are domain names, right?
Mm,
Website domain names. And that makes so much sense, right? It's unique. You have to pay for it. Only one
yeah.
person has ownership of it, and it's digital, right? So prospercloud.com is a domain name. I have ownership of it. If someone pays for it, then I transfer the ownership and they have it. But I think
Ah.
even before NFTs existed, right? Back in the day, late 90s or early 90s, there was this concept, we just didn't call it NFT.
Dude, I love that. That's exactly wow. That makes so much more sense when you put it that way. I completely understand what an NFT is. Wow.
Awesome.
Shout out Dharmesh. That's really cool that he said that.
Yeah.
Awesome. And one thing that I hear, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Is people say this about NFTs is, you know, what's to stop somebody from screenshotting or just downloading, you know, bootleg the piece that you buy, right? So
Yeah.
my thing is Banksy, he's a popular artist. I can buy a bootleg piece on Amazon for $10, but it
Yeah.
doesn't, you know, it's not authenticated and it's not worth nearly as much as the original piece. What are your
Yes.
thoughts on that?
So that's a great point, right? And the statement that you said actually parses out into two pieces. Piece number one is the creative value of it, or you look at something, and let's talk very specifically the art here, right? So you look at that art and you get a sense of pleasure, right? You enjoy that art, and there is value in that. But there's also a tradable value of an art, right? That art inherently has some value which can be traded in the future for a higher price.
Yeah,
You can take as many pictures of that art as you want, and you can replicate the first piece. You can replicate that, the beauty of it, and you can capture the beauty of it. But for you to actually monetize it, for you to actually get, rewarded by the appreciation of that asset, you can't do that with that image that you took or the photograph that you took. For that, you need to have that NFT, which is, the token, or some sort of a certificate of authentication that this is the original piece. And when you sell that piece, you sell it along with that certificate, which is an NFT, and that's when you monetize on it.
exactly. Yeah, and it really can't be faked. You can't have fake certification for it because it's on the blockchain, right?
Yeah, no, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's the beauty of blockchain, right? Like, it's immutable, right? Like, that is one of the characteristics of blockchain. It's immutable. Once something is written on the blockchain, truly there are, it would take a lot of effort to actually change what's written, like almost insurmountable amount of effort, right? So that's one thing that a blockchain enables, that the certificate that you see, if it says this person owns it, if Maz owns a certain asset, it's very hard for me to go change the name from Maz to Salil. So you will have that ownership.
exactly. So in a way, I wouldn't mind personally if I owned an NFT and people were screenshotting it and posting it everywhere. I think it'd bring more value to my NFT. I'd have to look at the data, but I would assume more people would want the original since there's so many, you know, bootlegs out there. So very interesting.
Yeah, that's a great question, right? And I think people talk about this many times. When you go to a museum, let's say you go to the Louvre in
Mhm.
Paris, and you can see a painting there, right? Uh, but you can take as many pictures of that painting. You don't get to own that painting. Whoever has the ownership of that painting will actually benefit from selling that painting. A photograph of that painting, a postcard of that painting will not fetch that amount of money that the original painting will.
Exactly. All right. So hopefully you have a better understanding of what NFTs are. So now let's transition to how NFTs are going to work on Bitclout.
Yeah, let's talk about it, right? And the beauty of Bitclout here, it's inherently social. So there are a few interesting components that come into play. when we talk about NFTs on BitClout. So let's look at the presentation that Diamond Hands dropped a day or so ago. So the first thing you will notice is every NFT starts its life as a post on BitClout. And I love that simplicity, right? It's not a new area you need to go to. If you've been on BitClout for even a little bit, everyone knows how to post. So, the transition into creating a new NFT is very straightforward. So, in this example, they basically are creating an image along with a few sentences on top. So you click on Mint NFT option, and it pops up a new section. And there are two things which you have to decide. One is it just one copy of that post that would be available, or one copy of that NFT that would be available for ownership? And then the second thing is, so that's one option. The second option is maybe there are multiple copies. Maybe you want to do 10 copies of an NFT, or you want to do 5 copies or 100 copies, right? Like whatever you want to do. And different use cases might enable different options here. So if you're selling tickets to a concert, you might want to do 100 tickets because that's your capacity. If it's a very unique experience, maybe coming over to your place for a dinner, it could be maybe one single ticket or one single option. So those are the two options that you can start off with. Any thoughts on those options, Maz?
When you say that, I just think of ways to use it for our podcast here, which would be to have
Yeah.
someone, come on an episode, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, guest appearance, right? Like you can, so again, like just if you look at the podcast, they could actually buy an NFT to be on the podcast, or they could buy one of 10 seats to come watch a live episode being recorded, right? So
Wow. Yeah.
either way it can work out, but yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah, no, I love these new use cases for these on the platform. I've been brainstorming some ideas as far as how we can utilize it for video content, and like I was saying before, this is cool because NFTs aren't just for artists. There's for coaches, for you can NFT anything essentially. If there's demand for it, it will sell. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to see you be have access and control of your content and be able to sell it down the line. So
Exactly.
interesting stuff. Mhm.
Exactly. And then when you pick one of the two options, you want to do just a single copy or one of n or one of 10 or 20 or 100, you decide what that, total amount is. There are four other options that we can see here. One option is what is the initial bid price, right? So that seems to me like there's a floor and it's optional. You may completely leave it blank, or you
Yeah.
can say that you want to keep the bid starting at $50 or $100 or so on. The two other options are very interesting, and we'll get into those in a second in our next section. But very quickly, creator royalty and coin holder royalty. So, how much of the proceeds from the sale of that NFT goes to coin holders and goes to creator? And it's not only on the first sale, it's also on secondary sales. So, if an NFT is bought and sold multiple times, so let's take that ticket example. Let's say Maz sells one NFT of inviting a guest over to his show. For some reason, that guest cannot make it and they want to resell that ticket to somebody else. However much they resell that ticket for, whatever the percentage Mass set, he will actually get a percentage of that sale back to him directly. Not only the person who owned it initially will get some part of it, but it will flow back to Mass. And if he set coin holders, all his coin holders will get that proceed as well. So those
Nice.
are the two options. And then the final option here before you actually mint an NFT is enable unlockable content. And this is where you can hyper personalize an NFT. This could be a piece of content that only the owner of that NFT, once they buy it or they win that NFT, can view or can experience it. So those are the four options. The minute you create a post and you hit mint NFT, show up, and these are for you to decide. And depends on what you're trying to achieve. You can play with these different options.
That's amazing. And that's cool because, I'm not a rapper, but I would totally make a rap song and just be completely embarrassing. And I would put it for sale and just have one person buy it and just kind of mess around with things like that. It just
Yeah,
brings a lot of fun and experiments that you can bring to the platform.
yeah,
And yeah, it's really cool.
yeah. Um, And to complete the life cycle, right? How do NFTs work? There are two other pieces we should cover here. How does someone own an NFT, and how is an NFT, awarded to somebody? So to actually have the option to own an NFT as a user, once you see that post, you place a bid on it. Uh, and when you're placing a bid, it potentially asks you what your bid amount is, and you need to have that much in your wallet, whatever the bid amount is, before you're able to actually place that bid. And I'm just thinking out loud here, I'm seeing this, it doesn't look like, how on eBay you have an option of buy now, you
Yeah.
pay a certain number and you get it. That option doesn't exist here, and I think that's for a good reason. Because when we go to the next option here, or the next piece here on how an NFT is awarded, the creator has the option to not pick the highest bidder. So if you
Mm.
have bid on an NFT, let's say there are 10 bids, you only have one NFT that you will sell, you may not want to sell it to the highest bidder. You may want to sell it to the second or the third, or there could be a different criteria there that you want to choose. So your piece of content or your piece of asset doesn't necessarily go to the top bidder. And that's why I feel there is no buy now option, because Bitclout is giving control, a little bit of control back to creators on who gets to own that NFT.
That's awesome. And the way I see that is very similar to when someone buys a house, right? A lot of times a house may have special meaning to you. You don't want to sell it to an investor who's just going to come tear it down, resell it for some
Yeah,
profit. You want to give it to the family that's going to come in, cherish it, and build upon it. Similar to artists, right? Artists put their
yeah,
heart and soul into these NFTs. You don't
yeah,
want to just sell it to someone that's just going to try to profit really quick. And that's really cool to see that.
yeah.
Awesome job, Big Clout.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about this, right? Like this is probably like this is an initial take on NFTs, and I think a lot of thought has gone into how this is built. Like small details have been considered, but there's always, you create a system, there are always ways to game a system. So
Yeah.
as we were talking about, the highest bidder doesn't get it, but let's say if you are really set on getting it, but you think that the artist might not want to sell to you, you can always have a proxy buy it, and then you can buy it from a proxy in some sense, because
Yeah.
the secondary sale, I don't know yet right now, but on the secondary sale, I don't think there is a, you can restrict someone from owning an NFT through a secondary sale.
Yeah, but I guess if you can get some royalties off that, then selling it
True.
twice, you may get a little bit more of a return from that.
That's right.
But if someone's willing to go through that much trouble, then they really want it. Then fair game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Awesome. All right, so let's break down a little bit more about the monetization of NFTs on BitClout. I'm curious to hear how a creator, how people that make NFTs and buy them, how they can make profit on this. And it's interesting because I was on a call with High Key earlier, and they
Okay.
manage a lot of influencers. And the one thing that I remember talking about with them is these NFTs. If BitClout becomes as big as we see, right, the
Yeah,
potential, we may be able to buy these NFTs at floor prices because it's not a big social platform as of today.
that's
So
right.
a lot of these NFTs may be at a bargain to what they can be in a year, 2 years, or whatever X amount. So we really have an opportunity of a lifetime, right? Imagine buying, an influencer, NFT, and you in 10 years, BitClout becomes one of the biggest platforms. Dude, that NFT is going to be worth so much money. It is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Like I can just imagine the first tweet, and I think this was another interesting thing we didn't cover it. I think going through these documentation, people can mint their previous posts into NFT as well.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think there is the first clout by Diamondhands potentially can be an NFT, right? Which I don't remember. I'm going to paraphrase it, which is something like, "In the end, it was inevitable."
Yeah.
So I think about it, right? Like the first cloud ever converted into an NFT. In the beginning, obviously, Diamond Hands owns it, but one of the investors might want to buy it, or one of the the big whales on the platform might want to own the very first cloud put out by Diamond Hands. Yeah,
That's awesome. You want to hear something funny? So I have the original or the first reclout of a reclout post
is
when
that
reclouts first came out, and I did that for the sole purpose of when there was going to be NFTs, I may eventually sell that clout.
So you okay? So you did the first recloud of a recloud.
Yes, first recloud of a recloud on the blockchain.
Who did the first recloud?
I'm not sure. I was trying to race them. It was I forgot the name, but I'll figure it out. But I got the second one, so I was like, okay, cool. They
Yeah,
did the
yeah,
first recloud. I'm gonna do the first recloud of a recloud.
that is
So
awesome, man. Yeah, if you go
yeah,
back, like if you think about it, right? There's so many firsts or like even milestone things that can be converted into NFT, right?
exactly. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about monetization, right? So what do you think? What is an optimal way for a creator to take an approach on NFTs? And obviously, we don't know just yet. Things may
Yeah.
change, but as of now, what are some tips that you recommend, or what are some things that you see as far as monetization for creators?
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the slide here and breaking it down. I think when someone sells an NFT, there are five interesting pieces, right? What is the selling price, right? What are you selling it for? And then comes the three things. One is creator royalty. So creator gets to set what their royalty is. Coin holder royalty gets to set how much of it is distributed to coin holders. And my understanding is it's probably distributed based on their percentage holding on the cap
Yes.
table. Then the one more piece is a service fees, and I think each node will get to decide what the service fee is. And also there were discussions on the size of the NFT drives the service fee for this. And looking at some discussion, I think this is probably only for the first sale and not for secondary sales. But
Nice.
this is a fast evolving world, right? NFTs still, right, based on Diamond Hands message yesterday or the post yesterday, it's almost there, but they're still putting finishing touches on it, right? And they're open to community feedback. So it's possible that the service fee might reduce, might increase, might go away, right? So this is just an initial take on what it is. And then when you take out these four things, you get the final earning. So you take out the creator royalty, the coin holder royalty, the service fee, and then if you subtract that from selling price is what the earning is. So in just to simplify it, the earning and the creator royalty goes to the creator, and then the coin holder royalty basically is given out to the coin holders.
Nice. And then yeah, I was reading. I didn't verify just yet, but the node. So depending on the node, they can adjust what the fee is. Correct?
I believe so. I think that should make sense because right now all transactions that happen on a node, they all have a very very tiny fees, right? Every like that you do on bitclout.com or any node actually costs something. It's like fraction of a cent, right? So no one even finds out, right? But your wallet is going slightly down every time you're working on it, or you're active on the platform. And I think each node operator gets to decide what that fees is. So it's possible that the fees on NFTs might be decided by the nodes as well.
Interesting. Yeah, one thing that I wanted to talk about was Diamond Hands posted a reply, which he said. So imagine if Picasso had access to NFTs and his artwork, was able to be NFT'd and had
Yeah,
royalties. Every time it switched hands, he would earn royalties from it.
that's
So
right.
think of something so special like that, right? So let's
Yeah,
think of a modern day Picasso. He's on
yeah,
Bitclout. He or she's on Bitclout.
yeah.
Dude, they will have income for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely, right? Like, and this is a royalty stream for the rest of your life, and I think that's extremely, extremely, extremely powerful, right? Not only every time it changes hands, you get to earn, your coin holders get to earn, but the appreciation, like you mentioned, right? Today, let's say some artist, some artist is an emerging artist, right? He or she created an NFT of their first piece of art, and I'm just just making it up. It gets sold for $100, one clout right now. Sure, they maybe put whatever 10% as royalty. They got $10, doesn't change much. Let's say that creator becomes incredibly popular. Their journey starts on BitCloud, they get incredibly popular, and 5 years' time, the same piece of art is resold for $1 million. They can actually partake on it. Since they put 10% royalty, they will get $100,000 on that sale. That's 5 years down the line, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is like the point that you were making, that this was just not possible before. Now, on every future sale, the creator actually has a little bit of a financial incentive as the asset they created appreciates.
Exactly. Yeah, that's amazing to hear. So again, we're gonna test this out when it comes out. So we will see how creators can really monetize and things like that. But yeah, so I'm curious to hear, what do you think as far as the demand for NFTs on Bitclout right now? Are we going to see is because if everybody tries to sell NFTs,
Yeah.
will there be buyers, right? Or how is that going to work?
Yeah, and I think that's a good question. In fact, now I was thinking about it, right? Like you asked this question, how will the dynamics change?
Yeah,
I feel, in a lot of sense, people who are creating NFTs, they potentially one will have a higher coin price. They potentially can also charge a higher founder reward because on every sale of their NFT, they, in some sense, kick back or pass back the earnings to their coin holders,
yeah,
right? Projects like Prosper Cloud right now, it's not a project which creates NFTs or any other project. That luxury doesn't exist, right? So people will need to start figuring out, including technology projects, can you or can we create NFTs out of our content, right? And then
hmm,
what kind of an NFT is that, right? It could be a data NFT. You might want to own certain data set, right? But it again, it this is where innovation happens. This is where people start thinking creatively. By default, also, how NFTs are discussed in the market overall, it's more bent towards artists and creators, like digital artists, people who are painting stuff, people who are voice artists or podcast shows. It potentially has a clearer use case there. I think I'm very excited to see how do non-artist creators on BitCloud, use NFTs to monetize their projects, create value for themselves, and create value for their coin holders.
yeah. And I'm interested to see how it's going to work with, let's say, I am on Instagram and I steal someone's artwork and I
Oh
go
yeah.
on BitClout and I NFT that artwork. Nobody finds out until after I leave with the money. How does that work? Is there a due diligence as a buyer to make sure that this creator selling an NFT
Yeah.
is actually making this artwork?
You know I'm mobbing with the DRE.
Yeah, so I think again, right? Like we talk about every episode, Mass drops, gold nuggets. I think this is the gold nugget for this episode. Uh, do your due diligence, right? We talked about this due diligence piece for coin purchases, right? Like when you are going to purchase a coin, figure out that who they say they are, they actually are that person, right? Like if someone comes up and says, "Oh, if someone creates an account called Barack Obama, you are not going to buy that coin, right? Obviously,
Yeah,
right? Like unless it's a verified Barack Obama and they're a waste, right? Same
yeah,
thing, right? Like if you see an artwork which looks like an amazing artwork and someone claims they are, an artist, just make sure they are the artist and they have the ownership of that art, right? Because on the first purchase, they will get their earnings, they will get the royalty. So the do your own research thing always stays true, buying creator coins or buying NFTs.
yes, absolutely. And I think this is a good time to talk about that because there will be a bunch of scams that come with NFTs. We
Yeah.
have to make sure you do your own research, take your time. And yeah, just like when you buy creator coins, take the time to verify them, make sure they're legit, make sure their artwork is legit. Because again, I could easily go on Google, screenshot something, make it an NFT, and sell it. And it's not my work. So make sure that, we have to
Exactly.
hold the creators accountable,
Yeah.
and self govern, kind of, and
Yeah.
just be smart about it. Absolutely.
Yeah. 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 So I think that's very important. And I think that's true in like regular world as well. I think when you go to a fair or you go to a showroom and you buy a piece of art, you somewhat want to verify that it's an authentic piece and it's sold legitimately, right? Like internet reduces that friction, but that friction reduction also comes with scams, right? It's easy for people to create art and sell art, so just be careful. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a great way. Yeah, there's always ways to certify things, make sure that they're legit, but people still find ways around them. Let's say for example, this jersey, right? Adidas, right? This could be a fake logo, right? We don't know that.
I
I
thought
hope
that was a
not,
fake
but
logo.
huh?
I thought that was a fake logo. It's not.
Oh, does it say Adidas? Oh, that's an O, huh? Adidas. But you know what I'm saying? Everything can be Faked. So it's our job to do our
Yeah.
research before we buy things. Same thing with NFTs. So yeah, very interesting to see how this will play out. I'm excited for NFTs. I want to make a follow up video once we have NFTs on the platform after we test them out. Maybe we'll do a test run with an NFT for this
Yeah.
episode or for this show,
Yeah.
and it's going to be interesting to see because right now we're expecting certain things, and then it's going to be interesting to see once they drop, just kind of reanalyze and see how things are on the platform with NFTs. What are your thoughts on NFTs as soon as they launch on Bitclout? How do you think that's going to change the dynamic of the platform?
Yeah, I think there'll be certain creators who like, right, they've already creators who are pretty popular, right? We saw a few of them. Digitalize was one creator. I think Sabira is another creator. I think there are some well-known creators, and I just can't wait to see, now they can actually sell pieces they are creating from their account, and I see expect a lot of people to buy.
Exactly. What? So let's brainstorm here on set right now. If me and you were to NFT a blueprints related NFT, what would it be? Let's talk about it so viewers can kind of work with us or with our thought process here.
Yeah, yeah. I
Hmm.
There are three things, man, I can think of, right? And I would love to hear your thoughts. One is we can do a live blueprint show, right? And to be on that live blueprint show, there are, let's say, 10 tickets, and people need to bid to be part of that. So that's one idea. Love to hear your idea, and then go back and forth.
Yeah, I think live seats, that's awesome. Maybe have a guest on,
Yes.
someone just a big clout, member to come on. Um, let's see, maybe have we can, NFT the thumbnail of every episode.
Yeah.
Um, we can NFT a 10-second clip of unseen footage. There's just so
Exactly.
many. My brain is just working in a million different ways, and I
Yeah.
would love to. And I would love to hear the viewers listening to this some feedback as well. What
Yeah.
would you want to see from Salil and myself as far as an NFT of this series that we work on? But yeah, I would love to try some of these out and see how the audience and then creators react to it.
I vote for a 1 minute clip on Maz's secret to success on BitClout.
Oh
I'd vote for
shit.
that. I'd vote for that.
Oh man, that's tough. I think that yeah, I can we can make that happen. I think so.
Yeah, you think it's going to take you longer than 1 minute? It's way more content, or what do you think?
I love the challenge. I love the challenge. I'll definitely rehearse a couple times, but
Yes,
I think I can get it right on 59 seconds. I think
there we
so.
go. Cannot wait
Yep.
to own that.
Dude, that'd be crazy, huh? Huh, I should do
Yeah.
that. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll wrap this episode up here. It's been a pleasure talking with Salil again, talking about NFTs. We will come back with an updated episode once NFTs launch on the platform. This is
Yes.
almost just a prequel to what we expect and just kind of breaking down what NFTs are and how you can use them on BitClout. So thank you all for tuning in. Any last words, Salil?
Yeah, I think I would love to hear ideas, right? Like, what can be created into an NFT? It could be tickets, it could be access to something. The other thing, almost a challenge here, would be: are there real life services, real life goods that or products that people can convert into NFTs, right? We think of NFTs as a digital piece. Is there a real life thing, a real life situation that can be NFT'd, right? So, would love to
Mhm.
hear.
Love that. So yeah, go ahead and leave that in the comments down below. We'll post this on Big Cloud. Make sure to interact there as well. We appreciate you tuning in. And yes, we will see you in the next episode. Peace out, everybody.
Here's the thing about NFTs.
Peace.
It's a non-fungible token, you see. Non-fungible means that it's unique. There can only be one like you and me. NFT